and welcome back to another episode from the Safe to Feel podcast. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome. I'm literally in bed right now. I've been drinking tea, and just cozy in bed. And I thought I would record another episode and share some tools and techniques that I have been using over the years and continue to use to cultivate a deep self-love and a deeper relationship and understanding with myself. So I hope that this podcast is helpful, relatable, I don't know, something new. I would love to hear your thoughts as well, but yeah, I just thought I would share, my journey and what's worked for me. So, at the beginning of my self-love journey, it kind of happened towards the end of high school, actually, I would for a little over 4 years ago. And at the time it felt like I had lost a lot, but it was actually a blessing in disguise because it opened up so much space and all I had left was myself, right? And being left with yourself, it was like, wow, but very transformative. And I remember at this point in my life, don't get me wrong, it was really hard. I was not okay mentally. In fact, most of my high school, I really struggled with mental health, and it was really hard. I will be so straight up. I was not doing good, okay? I faced depression. It was hard. But nonetheless, here we are today, right? At the beginning of my journey, I started using affirmation and mantras. And I just remember really I was like, I want to heal. I wanted to go on a healing journey. I wanted to start my journey to self. And I really wanted to love myself. And at the time, my self-worth and the way I thought and spoke about myself was so negative, and honestly sad. But I was ready to change that. And I think having an open mind led me down and still leads me down many paths, to be honest. But I started with self-affirmation, and I would repeat these affirmations to myself daily. And I've been doing this for over 4 years now. I still use affirmations. I use them in a different way now because, my practices and me have shifted. So it's a little bit different now, but starting back then, I used positive self-affirmations. Whatever. I used affirmations every day, guys, okay? And honestly, it was uncomfortable. And I mean this in the sense that I didn't truly believe what I was saying. It didn't fully resonate with me because like I said, my self-worth was pretty low and I didn't have those thoughts about myself. I didn't believe those things about myself, but I wanted to. And I wanted to step into that. And so even though at first it was uncomfortable, I persevered. And honestly, years later, I can say that, wow, so much has shifted for me. And truly, like, those positive beliefs have been deeply integrated. And that comes to the topic of the mind and how powerful the mind is. Our thoughts and beliefs are so powerful. And like, I mean, come on. If you have a negative thought and you believe that and you think that negative thought about yourself over and over and over again, it becomes your reality. And then it's like confirmation bias in a way. Like, everything around you is like reflecting that. And it just perpetuates, and you really believe this, and it can really impact your life. But on the flip side of it, like, shifting your thoughts will shift your whole mood, your whole reality, and it's so cool. And what I always say is, your mind can be either your worst enemy or your greatest asset. And on part of my journey, I went into this journey within the journey about mastering my mind. And within this journey, I would say this is like halfway through. So a couple years ago, I really was seeing and testing the powers of my mind and what I believed and what I thought, and how it really did impact my reality, which is so cool. And, you know, even with the affirmations now, something I do is I replace my negative thoughts with positive affirmation. And again, it's a practice. The more you do it, the easier it flows. For me, it's like second nature now. I don't really have to think about it. But at first, like, it takes effort and it takes mindfulness and practice. But that's something that also really helped me cultivate a deeper sense of self-love and just overall speaking to myself highly and kindly, lovingly and nurturing. Like, I think what also plays into it is I do a lot of parts of self-work, and I got into that a lot in my journey, and just honoring, acknowledging, and loving those different versions of me that still exist. You know, every woman and girl that lived before me exists within me, and she is there and she can hear everything. And so in a way, I feel like the older sister now, but just being really mindful about how I'm speaking to myself and also them. Because a lot of those negative beliefs that I might have, you know, stem from a time and an experience when that version of myself was in the present moment and existed then. And so I have the ability to change that in the now and love her. Love that version of me who went through whatever they went through or believed that belief that is harmful to me, and I can teach them in a new way. And I think that has been deeply impactful on my, you know, relationship with myself, but also my self-love. But getting into some more deeper things, around the same time that I began my affirmation journey, I also started doing mirror work. And mirror work is honestly probably really uncomfortable for a lot of people. And it is going to be at first, especially if you struggle with self-love and fully embracing yourself. It's not easy, but like, I don't know a lot of people who could stand naked in front of the mirror and look at themselves, look not only on a physical level, but in the soul, and embrace that fully, love it fully. But that's a part of the work, and the journey is getting there through putting in the work. And mirror work really, wow. I think mirror work was one of the deepest ways that really cultivated such a strong, unconditional self-love. And it's a daily practice. It's a journey of life. I really do think self-love is a lifelong journey, because you can always discover more. But I think in the time that I have been practicing these methods, I have transformed a lot, and I'm much kinder, compassionate, and loving towards myself, and everyone deserves that. I think it's important to be that person to show up for you. You know you best, and if you don't, you can discover so much. And that's the inward journey. Mirror work was foundational to the self-love I have today, and continues to be. It's very vulnerable, it's raw, and it's the undeniable truth. And learning to embrace and explore every part of yourself is so profound and essential to inner growth and self-love. And that brings me to also mention shadow work, which as much as mirror work, if not more, has been one of the most important and pivotal tools that I've used to develop my relationship with myself and cultivate that unconditional self-love. For those of you who don't know what shadow work is, and I'm sure there's other names for it, but I just know it by that. But it's facing the darker parts of you, the aspects of you tend to hide from yourself and from others. It can be parts of yourself you feel shameful, guilty, even disgusted or critical and judgmental of. They are the parts of yourself you don't want them to exist, right? It could be jealousy, it could be anything. It's the parts of you that you push away and ignore and hide. But, the shadow always creeps in and finds its way to expose itself, because it really needs to be seen. And that's a huge part of shadow work. Being able to sit in front of yourself, fully naked, raw, just you and you, the honest truth, metaphorically and physically, is incredible. And it's not easy, but it gets easier with time. And is honestly the groundwork for a deep self-love and compassion and strong relationship with yourself. When you can face the darkness within you and hold it, see it, feel it, and love it, embrace it with compassion and empathy, that is so incredible and healing. And there's so many shifts that can be done through shadow work, and it's honestly just so insightful. And all of these things have been aids to life-changing inner transformations. Another thing that I've really loved to do, and I still do, and I've done it over the years, is writing love letters to myself. And yeah, I don't know, I like to get creative, but genuinely, I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of love to give. I know how to love people really deeply and unconditionally, but that love is also really, it needs to be extended to me too. And just like writing a love letter to yourself is a beautiful experience and something that I've loved to do. And like, I don't think that as humans we take enough time, at least for me in my experience, like I don't take the time I always need to take to really honor myself and sit down and look at myself and be proud of myself and cheer myself on. I think there's a tendency as a society in a way when individually like we focus on the negative more, and I just think writing a letter to yourself is cute, and I've really enjoyed it. In all of that kind of deep work, parts of self work, shadow work, mirror work, it's pretty heavy. The affirmation and love letter part is like the more lighthearted practice. And going back to parts of self, really my whole journey it started with inner child, right? Like connecting to that inner child, letting her be seen, be free, and be there. And going to swing on the swing set if I wanted to, or I don't know, like for me, riding my skateboard connects me to 12-year-old me, or, just certain things. And I think that's really a great start. And then as you get deeper into it, really acknowledging and getting to know those versions of you that exist within you. And it's crazy because it's like, that's inner conflict, low key. If you think about it, like the inner conflict, there's one version of you who thinks you should handle a situation this way. And then there's the version of you that exists in this present time here and now, like the wisest version, let's say, of yourself, who thinks it should be handled a different way. So interesting, which that parts of self gets really deep. It's a whole topic in psychology, but it's been really awesome to learn new ways to cope as well. I think in the past, I'm sure many of us have done this, coped in ways that aren't necessarily the best for us. For me, it was smoking, it was drinking, it was food, it was even the gym. I was using unhealthily at times to kind of escape. And over time, learning new techniques to self-soothe and making those changes are amazing. And I just wanted to share that because that is something I do as well, like making a cup of tea, taking a bath, massaging my foot. I love foot massage though. I love massage. I don't know about you, or a hand massage. It's honestly, and I love showing my love in that way to other people, but that's the whole thing, is that same love deserves to be shown back to me. And oh my gosh, you guys, pouring your love into yourself is so powerful because it's both giving and receiving at the exact same time. And I just think realizing that I am the one who is capable of loving myself in the way I love others, rather than wanting others to love me in the way I love others, has been transformational for me and so important for me to recognize. But yeah, it's all a journey and a process, and everybody's journey is unique and different, and that's beautiful. And I think that's exactly what unconditional self-love requires, is the embracing and loving the uniqueness of you, the authentic you, and being honest with yourself with the darkness and the light allows you to get closer to that true unconditional self-love. And I hope that this podcast or this episode inspires you to be a bit more compassionate and open-minded, and at the very least lets you know that you do deserve to love yourself, and you deserve to be loved, and you are loved. You are so loved. Genuinely, I mean it. I don't know. I hope that, some of these ideas sparked something in you. These are some of the really major things that I've used and been using and genuinely have transformed me for the better, from within and without, all around. So until next time.